Yeah, well, that is true. That health does come into that does tie into a lot of, how we keep on living, keep living basically, because like I said, there is health does affect, whether we could live or die, or whether we have a struggle, going on with that. So that definitely is really big. So like I said, maybe we could do. I know I do have an episode that I want to do on health. So maybe that one will be the right time to kind of talk more about that, because that would be really good to talk about.
Oh yeah, I have a lot to say, but I have a lot to say about a lot of things. But anyway,
So, speaking of loved ones, I'm going to go into our next question because it kind of ties into the loved ones. So, when I think of death, I think of like the preparations that some people set up for, whenever it comes to their time to go, such as having like life insurance and like writing down passwords to like other info, like maybe bank accounts and important accounts that their loved ones may need to get into, or writing out a will, or even some people may even like make plans for their own funeral. So I was wondering, do you feel like all of these things are necessary, or do you feel like some of these things may not be necessary, but is good to have?
well, I mean, I think it very much depends on your situation. There are some things, and this is just another technical detail that a lot of people don't know. Like when you talk about wills, like you typically think like, oh, I have a will. Whoever's my beneficiary or whoever's the lawyer handling my estate has to do what I say in my will, basically. But that's not necessarily the case. Like there can be a lot of like legal issues that come up. Like if you say, hey, I want to will my property to my surviving loved ones. I know this is going to go on a whole other real estate tangent, but there are other options like a living trust, which apparently like kind of streamlines the whole process and you can get past a lot of the legal mumbo jumbo. But like I personally have life insurance, which is this very invasive process. I don't, have you ever gotten life insurance?
Yeah, I actually did hear in the past year I got life insurance.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because it's like they are literally doing a medical examination on you to determine if you're worth their money investment, which is so weird. But and they hand you this little pamphlet from like the 80s. They're like, we're gonna test you for HIV to make sure you don't have that kind of thing. And it's just like that's I don't know, just it just seems kind of excessive. But yeah, I got life insurance. A lot of companies will actually provide like a death benefit too, and then you don't have to do anything for it. I know my last company did. My current company does not, but I think it's because they're so small. Um, but like, let's see, passwords and stuff like that. I definitely haven't written down any of my passwords. Um, but I kind of feel like when it comes down to it, like if you really want to get into someone's computer, I mean, speaking from experience, you can find a way, you
Hmm.
know. Um, if it comes down to it, um, or you can find someone who can help you. Like it's not the end of the world if you don't have someone's password. Um, let me think. Let's see. Passwords, life insurance. I don't know. And you see, it's also weird for me because I'm the youngest of my family, my immediate family. So like the chances of me dying before them is a little bit less. Like my older brother is almost 4 years older than me, and my partner is almost 6 years older than me. So like the idea that even though he's the beneficiary for, my life insurance, stuff like that, there's not really I don't really know like if like I'm just imagining like some sort of like terrible family vacation gone wrong. Like what if everybody I know and love in my sphere like all dies at once? Like I don't know what happens after that. Like does it just get like seized by the government or like I don't know. I feel like I need to write a will at some point now that I have all these assets in a house, particularly that I could like at least at the very bottom line, like, okay, look, if all these people are dead, then like at least give it to like this like charity that I pick out or something. Like I would at least want that. Um, and I mean either way, it won't matter. Like I won't be around to figure that out. But that that's that would be that's probably like the one more thing that I really need to get in order. But life's busy, so I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. Like life definitely gets busy. Like when it comes to like writing out a will and like being prepared for that moment. Like so definitely no one wants to think about that. But a lot of people do say that like if you have any kind of money, that a will is necessary. Like it's good to have, and because if not, then like your money goes to whoever. Like but at least if you basically have a say in where everything's going to, like so I guess that's definitely good. And I know a lot of people have like a misconception on wills. Like a lot of people think that wills is only for like the wealthy. I feel like a lot of people think it's just I don't know, I just feel like it's only for people that make a lot of money and stuff like that when it's not. And a lot of people think also that it may just be for, you just write out a will when you get older. And but it's like no, like you can write out a will at any time. Like it's as soon as you start having your own kind of, money and all kind of, different things, financial stuff behind all of that. I think, anytime's a good time to start writing out one. Personally, for me, I have not done it either. So, like, so just like it's a life gets busy, and I said, the idea of just writing one down it just seems very like, ugh. Like it is. I don't know. I just eventually I'll get to it. Right now I don't know. Like so right now I'm not really, wanting to worry about that. But as it is necessary, it's good to have for sure. So another thing, like as far as like planning your own funeral, like you said, it does depend on the situation because for me, like if I were to pass away, I wouldn't want to like have a casket and a funeral and all that. I want to like I know this sounds like terrible. Everybody's gonna be like, "Good grief, you're talking about how you want to die, like what's gonna happen to your body after you die." But like I would like to be cremated because I don't want. I know this sounds like a irrational fear, but like I don't want to be in the casket, be buried 6 feet under, and then wake up and think like, "Oh no, like I'm in the casket. I'm like I can't get out of here." So like I don't know. That's like a rational fear probably that I have, but
So like
I
you want to
would
make sure that even if you're not fully dead, that they get the job done, I
have.
guess.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Like that's why even on my driver's license I put I'm an organ donor. So yeah, take all my organs. Cremate me. Make sure if I'm dead, I'm dead because I don't want to come back alive in a casket 6 feet under. And listen, just the idea of that, like would scare me definitely for sure. Just because I feel like maybe every now and then I can get like a little claustrophobic, like depending on the situation. So like I want to make sure if I'm gone, I'm gone. So like so just planning out your own funeral is depending on how you want that to happen for you. And
Well,
so
historically, there have actually been cases of that happening, and that's why they used to put little strings in the coffin and a bell, and that would go up to the surface, and they'd be like, "Hey, if we got it wrong and you didn't actually die, then you just ring the bell." And there's people who would go and do the graveyard shift, the literal graveyard shift, and they dig you up, and they'd be like, "Sorry about that, mate. Let me go get the coroner and undo your death certificate." You know. Just business as usual. I mean, they had a lot of messed up stuff like that. You think about uh, in old times, whenever we weren't quite to the level we are now, and in medical and technological advancements. But I've seen some things, in the modern thing. I've seen some people. I don't know. Some people might consider it disrespectful or tacky, but like, I mean, I guess if you put it in your own will, like, I've seen some really interesting funerals where people like they get someone to, instead of putting them in the casket, they they prop them up in a chair, and they like put them like at a table. They put like shades on their eyes or something like that, so you can't see. They're obviously dead, and they just look like they're chilling out. And they're like, "Well, I want people to come here and have a party, and I'm just here." Like it's a little bit morbid, but I guess if that's what you want, that's what you want, and it's your will. Um, there's
yeah.
also there's also like there's also a lot of those eco options, like, oh, I want my body to decompose and turn into this like a tree or whatever. Personally, I don't really care about any of that. Like, I feel like if I still have, you know, people around who are going to be upset whenever I die. I mean, because like in my worldview, I kind of like feel like, I feel like once you get so old, you know, you outlive if you outlive everyone, then it's like, okay, well, there's not gonna be anyone left to cry over me when I'm gone. So, but if there are people like that who, at least attend and be like, okay, hey, we're sad about this person, I would really just want them to do whatever they felt is necessary because they're the ones affected, not me. Whatever is going to help you get your closure. I mean, funerals are not for the person whose funeral it is. Obviously, they're not really around anymore. Um, or however you choose to view that, they might not exist. Whatever. It's it's just it funerals are for those who remain. So whatever costs are associated. I mean, technically, funeral costs I believe are actually included as a part of my life insurance. So like if I were to like just suddenly die right now on screen, you guy on camera and everything, uh, then those left behind would already have that expense taken care of. And I think it would also pay off my mortgage, which would be great. But
Yeah, well, yeah, that's really good points, excuse me, to make because, like I said, it's not when it comes to our death, like I said, it is about, our loved ones and like so when we leave them, how that's going to emotionally affect them. So I see definitely want to make that closure as, as light as possible, or, just give them that full closure, even though, like I said, you're always going to probably mourn over that person, but at the same time, just you know, giving you that time to grieve and mourn, and then just having to move on with life. And I said that's definitely big. And like as far as funerals, like that, the one about the one just the guy just sitting there with the sunglasses, like that definitely would be like a lot of people. That is depending on how you look at funerals. Some people look at funerals as like a sad time, but then a lot of people also view funerals as like a way of celebrating somebody's life. So like you can look at it from two different ways. Some people want the idea of you being happy and celebrating not celebrating a death but celebrating a life, and just getting to be with your loved ones and trying to make the best out of the situation. So I can see how both ways are good. Also both ways can work out. But as far as like the other couple of things like with life insurance, as I mentioned, I have that as well. So like so that's definitely good to have because you never know. I mean, I know at first when I got hired from Coca-Cola, I think they even like offered me life insurance, and I was like, I'm good. They're like, but what if? It's like, I was like, okay, thanks. I was like, but I'm gonna wait. But I think the following year I ended up getting it. But as far as the last thing, as far as writing down your passwords and for your accounts, I personally do only because there's so many like as of right now, I'm not really writing it down for the purpose of if I die, everybody can see my passwords, but it's more of I need to remember my own passwords nowadays because there's so many uh, websites that require different styles of passwords, whether it's all capital letter and put a symbol or a number or something in there, and listen. So and then of course some like with my company, I have to change my password every 90 days. So like I said, it's just and like I said, there are ways for people to still get into your accounts even if they don't know the password. So like I said, there's definitely ways around that. So it's not totally necessary, but for me, I personally do it, but not really for death reasons. It's more just for trying to remember my own passwords while I'm alive.
yeah, yeah, no.